Keep in mind, these tutorials are enough to get you through this practice project, but you really need to supplement your learning by reading and watching the videos provided through adobe.com. It's hard to recognize the palettes and the naming system and formatting and locating items if you just use this. So please make sure that you're doing the first 3 weeks of Adobe Dreamweaver learning modules through adobe.com. There's a ton of videos, practice projects, and it's technically your textbook for the course. So looking at this, there's a couple of things that bother me. We don't have actual footer text, so I could type in footer text here. Just cooking, Somerville, USA. You know, phone numbers are nice, URLs are nice, addresses are nice, so people know where they're looking. I'm noticing this. My headline, body text, and caption are right on what you would call the cut line in print, which you don't want to have. So there's 2 ways to fix that. I could add padding to my targeted rule, or I can add padding to the div tag itself. I know I don't want anything, pictures or text or graphics to really touch that line, so I'm going to pad the whole div tag in. So this is my content div. That's this guy here. I can go into padding, and I can add 15 points on the left, and 15 points on the right. That's 30 points altogether. Now look what happened here. When I added to the width with padding, it pushed my div tag out, and it's kind of ugly looking that way. It doesn't really look good anymore. So you want to make sure that 15 plus 15 is 30. We're going to subtract that, 800 minus 30, and put our div tag back to where it's supposed to be. That's wonderful. So now we have pretty much everything we need for a template. So I can go up to File and create a template page. So save as template. Not save as template. I'm going to call it Dreamweaver Practice Temp. That's the name of my template. And I'm going to hit save. If you look at your files, the template folder is going to open up, and it's going to be right there, and that's beautiful. Perfect. So now I have a template. In this template, I'm going to create an editable region, which sounds like I say edible, and I want the content to be editable. I don't want this to change ever, I don't want this to change ever, and I don't want this to change ever. I only want the content to be editable. So I'm going to click on the whole content div. And I'm going to do Insert, Template, Editable Region. And there it is. Hit OK. It adds a chunk of space here that sometimes shows up in a browser and sometimes does not show up in a browser. If it does, you'll need to do negative padding or negative margin to push it back up. That looks like it's about 15 to 20 points. So I'm going to hit save, and I have a Dreamweaver practice.dwt. That's a template file, not an HTML file. That will not view in a browser. It only shows in Dreamweaver. So now I can do File, New, Site Template, and there it is, Dreamweaver Practice Project. That's my template. Here it is. I can hit Create, and there it is. It's perfect. I need to do this for every page of the site. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is 1. I'm going to do this 3 more times. File, New, Site Template, Create, File, New, Site Template, Create. That's number 3. File, New, Site Template, Create. That's number 4. Now I'm going to go through these and name them. So your home page has to be saved as an index. File, Save As, Index. No caps, no spaces. Index.html. It's going into my website folder because I created my root directory. Save. Now that one's index. Next one is mac and cheese. File, Save As, mac and cheese.html. Save. There it is, mac and cheese. The next one is chocolate cake. File, Save As, chalk cake. .html, save, and then the last one, chicken soup. File, save as, chicken soup.html, save. So here they are, chicken soup, chocolate cake, index, and mac and cheese. Perfect. And here they are, template, index, mac and cheese, chocolate cake, and chicken soup. Perfect. If I go back to my template, I'm going to make links. I can highlight favorite recipes, that's my index page. And in the properties palette under HTML, it says link. And there's a bullseye, point to file. You can just literally drag and drop. That's index. That link has been made. And you can tell because it just got really ugly. Mac and cheese, drag and drop. Mac and cheese, chocolate cake, drag and drop. Chicken soup, drag and drop. The links are made. I can hit file, save, and then I have to go through and save all of these as well. They just don't always reliably save when you do save all. So let's make these look pretty again. There's two ways to do it. In your selectors, you can do plus a colon, and it's going to give you a link, a visited, a hover, and a active, and you'll have to do these 4 times. And you can. It's just formatting them 4 times, and this is fine. Or you can do, in your properties palette, page properties, links, much quicker. I have the color written down as 9B0041. So, or I can just kind of steal it. Wow, I'm too anal. Has to be perfect. 9B0041. And I want this for all of them. You don't want to have a lot of color change and a lot of jumping around. You definitely don't want to do underline, so we're going to never underline. That underline kind of gets in the way. You can do the font, the style, and the point size. Do you believe it was 16 or was it 18? Now I can't remember. I should have written that down. And I'm going to hit OK. And now they're back to normal again. So I'm going to save this. Then I'm going to go through and save each of these. And we have an active, functioning website now. So if you preview this in a browser, it's going to work. And all of your navigation is going to work perfectly. So Dreamweaver used to have preview in browser, and it has this real-time preview, which sometimes works. Otherwise, just go to your HTML page in your project folder and open with and pick your favorite browser. Firefox isn't necessarily my favorite browser. And you can check to see if your navigation works. Now, nothing's really going to change except the URL, but it works. Notice it says untitled document up here. We kind of want to name our pages too. So we'll go back in and do that next.